I'ma tell my kids Scarface was Puerto Rican. Not just in spirit, in blood. Born in Cuba, I don't dispute that, but raised by a Boricua mother with fire in her veins. Her name was Míriam Colón, actress, patriot, and in my version of the story, she was the real first lady of Miami's underworld. You see, before Hollywood ever rolled the cameras, Míriam Colón boarded a ferry to Havana for an acting gig. She was 19, already a star in Ponce, and on the island of Cuba, she met him. Antonio Montana, gangster, revolutionary, charmer, a man whose name still echoes through old Havana like a rumor. Their time was brief, but the consequences, legendary. In 1949, she gave birth to a boy named after his father, Antonio. Then in 55, a daughter, Gina. But when the revolution came in 59, Miriam didn't wait to see which way the guns would point. She took her daughter, grabbed her US passport, and disappeared into the night, bound for Miami. Tony, he stayed behind with his father's people, raised in the smoke and whispers of a changing Cuba. 2 decades later, he came back, 1980, on a boat full of fugitives, dreamers, and devils, the Mariel boat lift. And that's where the world met Tony Montana. But none of it would have happened without the woman who gave him life, and then gave the world one of the most fiercest performances ever caught on camera. Míriam Colón, the mother of Scarface, and a Boricua icon. But behind every legend, there's a real story. And this one starts with Míriam Colón, daughter of Teodoro Colón de Jesús and Josefa Quiles Burgos, a girl born in the hills of Ponce who would rise to grace the stages of New York, stand before Congress, and give Scarface his soul. Let's find her family. Let's follow her records. Let's uncover the truth behind the myth. I am Dyron Castro Torres, the genealogist, and this is the Genealogy of Míriam Colón. This record is from ancestry.com. It's an official record, and this is the record that I'm going to show my kids when they ask if I'm trolling or if is it true. Because if you see right here, it says Míriam Colón, female, 80 years old, birth date 1936, which is, I'm going to show you is incorrect. But look where she lives. Residential place, Scarface. To me, she's still living on one of Scarface's mansions, right? And look at her child, Al Pacino's and Tony Montana. Come on, Scarface was Puerto Rican. Here we have the 1935-1936 census of Ponce. To the left is her father, Teodoro Colón de Jesús, and to the right, Josefa Quiles Burgos. The third one is Míriam Colón Quiles, and you see right here, she's already 6 years old, giving her birthday closer to 1929. Here is the 1910 U.S. Census of Utuado, Puerto Rico, and all the way at the bottom we have Teodoro, only 6 years old, and he is the son of Rufino Colón Menendez and Isabel de Jesus Torres. Pay attention to his brother Jose, because he'll come up in the next record as a witness to his father's death. As promised, we have the 1929 death record of Rufino Colón. And pay attention right here, you see Jose Colón, this is his son, and he is the declarante or the informant giving the information. So his father was born the legitimate son of Florentino Colón and Ramona Melendez. And as you see right here, Florentino also went by Antonio Colón Garcia, and he dies in 1912 in Jayuya at 74 years old, and he's a widower. And you see right here, he's the son of Juan Colón and Simona Garcia. It mentions his children, including Rufino, right here. His parents marry 11 January 1819 in Manatí, Puerto Rico. As you can see, this is a transcribed version of the records of Manatí. And you see Juan Colón Roman, born in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, the son of Gabriel Colón and Rosa Roman, is marrying Simona Garcia Estrada Tirado, the daughter of Isidro Garcia Estrada and Petrona Tirado. Following the Colón line, we have the 1786 marriage of Gabriel Colón and Rosalia Roman. They marry in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, and Gabriel is the son of Antonio Colón and Inés de la Cruz, while Rosalia Roman is the daughter of Agustin Roman and Victoria Robles. And finally, on the Colón line, we have the 1805 death record of Antonio Colón, who would be the fourth great grandfather of Míriam Colón and the fifth great grandfather of Tony Montana. And he dies in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, and he is the husband of Inés de la Cruz. Okay, turning back to 1922, this is the De Jesus line, or Miriam's paternal grandmother, Isabel de Jesus Otero. And she dies in 1922, obviously, and she is the wife of Rufino Colón, we already know, natural, they were born in Utuado, and names their children, including right here, Teodoro. And it says that she is the legitimate daughter of Cayetano de Jesus and Prudencia Otero. Her mother, Prudencia, dies in 1892 in Jayuya, Puerto Rico. And if you remember on the other record, she went by Otero, but on her record and all the other records, she goes by Montero. Okay, so Maria Prudencia Torres Montero dies in 1892, as we already know, and she's married to Cayetano de Jesus Negron. Their children are listed right here, including Isabel, and she is the daughter of Jacinto Torres and Maria Montero. Her husband dies 2 years later in 1894. You see right here, Cayetano de Jesus y Negron, and he is the widower of Maria Prudencia Torres Montera. The first record, it was Otero, then it was Montero, now it's Montera. So it's little changes that you got to be aware of. But anyway, it mentions their children, including Isabel right here underlined in red. And Cayetano is the legitimate son of Manuel de Jesus and Victoriana Negron. Okay, let's go back to, this is 1910. This is Josefa Quiles Burgos, the mother of Míriam Colón. She dies in 1998 in Union City, New Jersey. But here she is only 1 year old and she's living in the house of her father, Ramon Quiles Hernandez and Maria Burgos Gonzalez. Ramon Quiles and Maria Burgos marry in 1912 in Jayuya, Puerto Rico, and Ramon Quiles Hernandez is the legitimate son of Tomás Quiles and Juana Hernandez, while Maria Burgos Gonzalez is the legitimate daughter of Jose Maria Burgos and Marcelena Gonzalez. Tomás Quiles dies in 1885, and you see his full name is Tomás Quiles Herena, the husband of Juana Hernandez, and it mentions their children, including Ramon, and he is the legitimate son of Juan Batista Quiles and Ramona Herena Velez. Here we have the 1893 death record of his mother, Ramona Herena Velez, and you see right here, she is the widow of Juan Bautista Quiles, and it mentions all their children, including Tomas, and she is the legitimate daughter of Miguel Herena Velez and Antonia Velez Herena. So you know there's some endogamy in there. And finally, we have Míriam Colón's maternal great-grandfather, Jose Maria Burgos, who dies in 1907 in Jayuya, Puerto Rico. And he's married to Celestina Gonzalez. It mentions their children, including Maria, and he is the legitimate son of Pedro Burgos and Mercedes Reyes. So, was Scarface really Puerto Rican? Maybe not on the official script and official in air quotes, but in spirit, in drama, in every ounce of that fire. And let's keep it real. Scarface looks a lot like Carlito Brigante, that legendary New York gangster, and Carlito was Puerto Rican to the bone. Míriam Colón didn't just play Tony Montana's mother. She was everything that made him dangerous, magnetic, and tragic. She gave him love and shame, pride and prophecy. She was the calm before his storm. And me, I'm gonna keep telling it the way it should have been told. His father may have been Cuban, but Scarface's mother, she was Puerto Rican.